Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. MotoGP title leader Marc Márquez is aiming to extend his perfect record in 2025, but the 8-time champion believes that KTM's Pedro Acosta and Maverick Viñales could pose a serious challenge at the Circuit of the Americas. While Ducati continues to dominate, Márquez is keeping an eye on his rivals as the race weekend unfolds. At the Circuit of the Americas, Francesco Bagnaia ended Friday's MotoGP practice session in 10th place. Despite the modest overall result, the Italian rider sees clear signs of progress. Shifting conditions, from a soaking wet morning to a drying afternoon, helped him rediscover the feel on his bike that he's been searching for this season. In Austin, Ducati's CEO Gigi Dall'Igna stirred the MotoGP paddock with a series of strong statements on hot topics ranging from the manufacturer's vote on Aprilia's proposal to internal information leaks. While Ducati continues to back Jorge Martin, Dall'Igna was quick to criticize how Aprilia's director handled confidential discussions, raising eyebrows within the sport. In a surprise visit to the COTA MotoGP paddock, injured world champion Jorge Martin provided an update on his recovery, expressing optimism about a potential return in Qatar. Martin, sidelined since suffering multiple fractures during February's Sepang test and a subsequent supermoto crash, remains focused on getting back on track as soon as possible. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marc Márquez led a Ducati-dominated Friday practice session at COTA, topping the timesheets by over 0.7 seconds despite a morning high side and wet conditions. However, he isn't underestimating the competition as the track dries out for the remainder of the weekend. Márquez pointed to KTM's strengths in acceleration, particularly in stop-and-go corners, as a key factor that could make Acosta and Viñales competitive in Texas. I believe that maybe Acosta and Viñales can be close, because here there are a lot of stop-and-go corners and KTM is good there, especially in acceleration from first gear they are really fast. Quote from Márquez. Acosta and Viñales finished 7th and 8th, respectively, in Friday's practice, positioning themselves as potential contenders heading into Saturday's sprint race. Despite acknowledging the KTM threat, Márquez remains confident in Ducati's strength at COTA. The Italian manufacturer swept the top 5 in Friday's session, with factory teammate Francesco Bagnaia also inside the top 10. The rest, as we see today, all Ducatis will be there on the top. Márquez's ability to bounce back after his early crash was another reminder of his adaptability and determination. The Spaniard admitted that his high side in FP1 was due to overconfidence in tricky conditions, but he quickly regained his rhythm in the afternoon. With a perfect record in 2025 so far, Márquez is looking to continue his dominance in the Saturday sprint and Sunday's main race. He has also outqualified his brother Alex Marquez at every round this season, with the Gresini Ducati rider finishing 4th on Friday. I felt good with the slick tires, but 0.7 second is not the real distance, because tomorrow everything will be more tight. But it's good to start. Márquez's unbeaten run with Ducati has been a major storyline this season, and with COTA being one of his strongest circuits, all eyes are on whether he can maintain his winning streak. As Marc Márquez prepares for the sprint race, he remains the man to beat at COTA. However, with Pedro Acosta and Maverick Viñales showing strong pace for KTM, the battle for victory could be closer than expected. The stage is set for an exciting showdown in Texas. Bagnaia started the day strongly during the wet session, finishing 6th and setting a promising tone. As the track dried, he managed to secure a top 10 spot for direct qualifying 2 access. Although the other 5 Ducatis dominated the top positions, Bagnaia concentrated on his own performance improvements rather than the numerical standings. I'm happy for the first time on a Friday with my feeling on the bike. In the wet, I was very happy. Normally I need more time to be competitive, and from the first laps I was feeling good. Quote from Bagnaia. In the drying conditions of the afternoon session, Bagnaia noticed a significant improvement in braking and the entry into corners. Despite making a tactical error by opting for a soft front tire in the last 10 minutes, he emphasized that the improved handling was exactly what his team had been searching for to boost overall performance. The feeling on braking and the entrance of corners was better, and this was something we were searching for. Focused on constant progress, Bagnaia is determined to address challenges session by session. Acknowledging his ongoing struggle with tire management compared to his Ducati teammates, he is committed to unlocking the full potential of his new bike rather than reverting to last year's GP24 package. Feeling more confident at COTA than in previous rounds, he is motivated to carry this momentum forward. We are getting closer to my best feeling on the bike. Right now, at this track, I feel much better than in Thailand, and I just have to keep going like this. With third place in the standings and renewed optimism from Friday's progress, Francesco Bagnaia now looks ahead to Saturday's sprint race. Every session offers him an opportunity to refine his performance further, and his determination to learn and improve could be the key to consistent race day results. As he continues to adapt and grow, Bagnaia's positive outlook promises an exciting challenge in the battles to come. The journey of progress is ongoing, and the Italian rider is ready to seize every moment to become even more competitive this season. During the only official vote held recently, Aprilia had requested that Jorge Martin be allowed a test session before his return following injury. Although the majority of manufacturers, including Ducati, voted against the proposal, Dall'Igna stressed that the no was not an outright rejection. Instead, it was a decision made collectively by the manufacturers, even though he noted his disagreement with the way Aprilia's director Massimo Rivola circulated untrue and confidential information from internal meetings. We didn't like Massimo Rivola's modus operandi, which was to circulate news that was untrue and, above all, confidential. What is said in meetings should stay there. Quote from Dall'Igna. The day in Austin was also marked by difficult free practice sessions in wet conditions. Dall'Igna recounted how the rain-impacted track led to multiple challenges, including Marc Márquez crashing due to aquaplaning and concerns voiced by Pecco regarding his performance. Despite the adversity, Dall'Igna remained optimistic about the rider's ability to adapt, highlighting that even though the weather and track conditions were harsh, both Marquez and Bagnaia managed to regain their rhythm as the session progressed. It was a tricky session with plenty of aquaplaning. Marc crashed because of it, but both he and Pecco managed to recover and regain their feeling on the bike. Looking ahead, Dall'Igna emphasized Ducati's commitment to ensuring that every rider gets the best possible bike. Pecco is currently using the same setup from Argentina, and while not the fastest in wet conditions, the team is ready to make any necessary adjustments before Sunday's race. Dall'Igna explained that their goal is to push the technical boundaries without becoming overly dominant or complacent, maintaining a competitive edge while continuously adapting the bike to suit changing conditions throughout the weekend. Pecco is using the bike from Argentina. We'll see what happens over the rest of the weekend, but we are ready to do anything to put him in the best possible condition for Sunday's race. With internal controversies still under discussion and Ducati's strategic adjustments ongoing, Gigi Dall'Igna's candid remarks highlight the challenges and complexities behind the scenes in MotoGP. As Ducati navigates these turbulent topics, all eyes remain on the upcoming race, where technical finesse and rider resilience will be put to the ultimate test. Martin's season was put on hold before it even began after he first injured his hand and foot during the Sepang test, followed by a more severe supermoto training accident that left him with 10 broken bones. Missing the first 3 rounds, Martin has had to watch from the sidelines, but he remains hopeful about a return in Qatar. It's really nice for me to be here, at COTA. It's difficult to watch from outside, but the recovery process is going well. For me, it's very slow, but for the doctors, it's going really fast. So this is good. I'm optimistic that I will maybe try in Qatar. Let's see. But for sure, it was a big and nasty crash. much worse than it seems. While Martín is eager to get back on the bike, the final decision will come after an important medical examination in Barcelona next week. The evaluation will determine whether his injuries have healed enough to allow him to compete at the Qatar Grand Prix from April 11th to 13th. The doctors will check again my condition in Barcelona next week, and then we will understand exactly how the bones are and how they are healing. Afterwards, we will take a decision, because even if you feel better, if the bone is not fully healed, you cannot go on track. Aprilia had pushed for a rule change allowing injured riders to complete a MotoGP test before racing again. However, the proposal did not receive unanimous approval in Thursday's manufacturer's vote, meaning Martín will have to return without any prior testing. Despite this, he remains understanding of the decision. No frustration, I totally understand. The important thing is for the future and to put this new rule in place for next season. I think it's good for the safety of the riders because I will try in Qatar without knowing my real condition. Although unable to ride, Martín is making the most of his time in Austin by studying how the Aprilia team operates during a race weekend. Having only completed 10 laps in Sepang before his injury, he is focused on familiarizing himself with his new team's working methods. Spending time with the team is the number one goal, also understanding a bit the style of work at Aprilia because I just did 10 laps in Sepang. So at least just listening to the comments, seeing how people work, and trying to use my experience also to help a little bit the team this weekend. Jorge Martin's road to recovery has been anything but easy, but the reigning world champion remains determined. If given the all-clear, his return at Qatar will mark the beginning of his Aprilia chapter, a moment both fans and the paddock eagerly await. Stay tuned for further updates as his comeback draws closer. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you next time.